Thank you. Welcome to those in the Del Mar Center Hall, those on Zoom, and later on YouTube. My name is Linda C. McCabe, and I am the current chair of the Sea Ranch Forum. Sea Ranch Forum is not an official function of the Sea Ranch Association. It is organized by Sea Ranch members and is independent of the board of directors and staff, and was originally founded in 1973. This particular meeting is a joint effort between the Forum and the Sea Ranch Vision Committee, and I want to thank Cynthia Bogalub and Christine Kraling for their help. And today's topic is inspired by this being the 60th anniversary year of the founding of the Sea Ranch. And it is 60 years retrospective of the Mendonoma Community, a celebration including the founding and evolution of key institutions in our community. We will be hearing Thank you. We will be hearing from 9 different spokespeople from these key institutions of our community. Each one will be giving a 10-minute presentation, and we will be going in a mostly chronological order. So please hold any questions you have until the end. Many of them also have displays at the back of the room in case you would like to learn more about them and how you can help support these vital organizations. Thank you.
And next up is Janis Dolphin, who's a board member of Redwood Coast Medical Services.
Hi, I've served on the board as secretary for the past 5 years or so, but my history with RCMS goes back a lot further. I particularly like this photograph to start with because it shows that how we live on the edge, not just of the continent, but in a place that takes a lot of extra effort sometimes just to exist. In that resilient spirit, I moved to the coast in 1976 with my partner and our baby daughter in an old government surplus mail truck filled with homesteading supplies, including 3 goats and an unwarranted amount of optimism. Right away, I picked up a copy of the ICO and thank you, Bronwyn, and read that Dr. Woodruff, who had a home office located on the Sea Ranch, was leaving his practice, that the Point Arena Medical Center was having a hard time maintaining a doctor, and that another physician in Wallala, Dr. Brigham, was retiring soon. Next slide. Local ambulance service at the time was provided by Ormsby Heirs, a business in Point Arena that doubled as the local mortuary, which was kind of an uninspiring combination. Furthermore, in those days, the ambulance wasn't obligated to run into Sonoma County, as there was no mutual aid agreement between the counties, and even the highway patrol didn't cross county lines to respond to accidents. In the spirit of wanting to be better prepared, Sea Ranchers Pauline Sater and Doris Bertram took EMT classes in Point Arena that were given by Santa Rosa Junior College, after which, in Pauline's words, they'd learned just enough to make us aware how helpless most of us are in a true emergency. A few months later, in the fall of '76, Pauline, Sylvia Moore, and Joe Griffin of the Sea Ranch were sitting on the steps of the Stewart's Point store with Bus Richardson, the store's sociable owner, and the Stewart's Point postmaster, discussing the local medical services situation, and they decided to call a meeting at the Sea Ranch Fire Department on Annapolis Road. By the end of November, the group had met twice with the initial vision of providing comprehensive medical care, including emergency care and lab and x-ray services, to Northwest Sonoma County, including community members as far south as Timber Cove and as far east as Annapolis, the Kashaya Reservation, and Odeon, the Buddhist retreat center on Tin Barn Road. It was soon recognized that there were needs and talents north of the Wallala River, so by the 3rd meeting in December, the residents of Anchor Bay and Wallala were in attendance, and representation from the Point Arena Medical Center was requested. Next slide. This is RCMS in 1979, and I wish I could have found some photographs to predate this one, because a lot of work was accomplished before this clinic in Stewart's Point was built. From the start, the location for a clinic was a hot topic, with early suggestions ranging from remodeling the Woodruff property near Moonraker, leasing a commercial facility near the Sea Ranch Airport, or accepting offers of property in Stewart's Point or Wallala. Meanwhile, a medical needs assessment of the community was done, reporting a lot of chainsaw injuries and falls from trees. We were still a logging economy. Heart attacks, car crashes, and always, always tick bites. By February 1977, the fledgling clinic was officially named Redwood Coast Medical Services and was a registered nonprofit corporation with articles of incorporation and bylaws, an official board of directors with Joe Griffin as its first chair, and a voting membership that cost $10 for each person over 18. Models for funding were researched and ranged from paid memberships, prepaid health care plans, tax support, and government and private grant funding. Early proposed budgets allowed for a half-time director at $10,000 a year and a physician at $30,000 a year, for some historical reference. By September of '77, 1 year after that momentous chat on the porch, the temporary office near Moonraker had a Dr. Donovan Cook seeing patients for RCMS, but debate was ongoing about a permanent location. With continued funding from the state in the balance, the decision was made in early '78 to locate RCMS in Stewart's Point on Skag Springs Road near Highway 1 on land donated by Bus Richardson. As the clinic was being designed by architect Don Jacobs, Dr. Cook decided to go back into private practice, to buy the rented facility near Moonraker and to take his small staff with him, leaving RCMS in the lurch. An alternative was to temporarily use the old cottages across the street from the clinic while it was under construction, and much effort was put into repairing and renovating them, only to have Sonoma County's building department deny their use. So then a trailer with 2 exam rooms and a small waiting room was acquired, which took several more months to prepare. An administrative office and the clinic's lab were located in one of those renovated cottages that you can see today, and they're not in the greatest shape. Today, RCMS is rightly proud of its modern, well-equipped lab, but back in that cabin next to the trailer, we made do with a microscope, an autoclave, and a simple centrifuge. And when we moved into the new clinic, we developed analog x-rays with wet bath chemicals, which was old school. Next slide. By September of '78, RCMS was starting to hit its stride with a new physician, Dr. Dwayne Olson, a physician's assistant, an executive director, 2 community outreach workers, and a small support staff, all working out of the trailer and the cabins. Almost a year later, a beautiful new clinic was finished and a grand opening was held, complete with country music, happy locals. I know there was plenty of wine involved in that because I was there, and politicians. Dr. Olson was a marvelous fit for our community, and he gave the dedication speech. Now, although I'm sure this photo was staged, I wanted to use it to tell a short story about how RCMS has always been there when we need it. At the time, I was working as a medical assistant, and I arrived to work to find Dr. Olson and Lois Falk, our new family nurse practitioner with midwife credentials, fortunately, looking bleary-eyed but excited. Dwayne had received a call in the middle of the night about a woman in potential early labor, so he called Lois in immediately, and the two proceeded to deliver premature twins born precipitously to the local forester's wife. The tiny babies were wrapped in space blankets to conserve heat, placed on their mama's belly, and all were flown out by helicopter to Santa Rosa. The 2 boys went on to thrive, growing up here on the coast, and their grateful papa later joined the RCMS board, which is a hell of a way to acquire a dedicated board member. Next slide. From the start, there were strong arguments made for a clinic in Wallala, largely based on population and clinic usage. In 1982, RCMS was still dedicated to staying in Stewart's Point, but in the summer of '83, Dr. Olson announced he was leaving, and talk began in earnest about not only finding a new doctor, but also about moving the clinic to Wallala. Soon thereafter, the decision was finalized, facilitated by a generous offer from John Bauer that couldn't be refused. As the clinic in Wallala was being readied, services were offered in both locations, But by the fall of '84, Dr. Tom Bertoli had been hired, and an open house for the Wallace facility was being planned. 3 of the people in that photo still work at RCMS, by the way, and 2 of the others still live in the area, so. All right, next slide. Our current board has often observed that while we welcome public attendance at our monthly meetings, we take it as a sign that things are going well when no one from the community actually shows up, meaning nobody's worried. And for years, that's basically how things went. The clinic evolved, becoming a federally qualified health center in 1999, which assured a significant amount of grant revenue and a significant amount of compliance. A satellite medical clinic and dental clinic were opened in Point Arena. Behavioral health services were added. RCMS was designated an interim stabilization facility, allowing the clinic to receive ambulance transports, and its urgent care department grew to meet the need. A local election in 2014 generated tax revenue administered through our ambulance district to help support the urgent care program. All seemed well until 2019, when the clinic hit a big snag. Due to some bad luck and some bad decisions, the clinic found itself in dire financial straits. And when the situation was finally made public, board meetings were on fire with alarm. Things finally started to turn a corner when Drew McCallie, our current board treasurer, and Ara Chakrabarty, new to the community, presented a financial rescue plan in this very room that suggested a way forward. With hope on the horizon, 4 women from the Sea Ranch, Paula Smith, Andrea Lunsford, Lou Linden, and Christine Kraling, who came to be known as the Forum 4, plus Hall Kelly, led a fundraising campaign that was nothing short of miraculous in its success. Ara, soon named CEO, provided the steady, frugal leadership that the moment called for, and with a realigned board, the clinic regained stability. Next slide. No sooner, let's see. Okay, there are 2 slides that have to do with oh, okay, got it. No sooner had one crisis been averted when another struck in 2020 in the form of a global pandemic. RCMS led the community response, working alongside our local emergency health and safety partners, as we served as our area's de facto public health agency. See what the next, okay, I kind of got them mixed up a little. Large vaccination clinics were organized as soon as the COVID vaccines were available, and our response served as a model that was famous well beyond our service area. RCMS providers and staff worked above and beyond, and visiting nurses provided vaccines for the homebound. The community's support for its clinic was repaid in spades. Next slide. The need for community support is ongoing and essential, and all the other organizations here have given you the same pitch, so just bear with me. Volunteers are always welcome, and there are dozens of ways to help assure the clinic's health, and by extension, our own into the future. I'm happy to answer any questions after the presentation here, and there are a few handouts on the back table. And the last slide. This area, so isolated and independent, has been blessed with capable people who, when they see a problem, step up and do something about it. Starting with that historic conversation on the Stewart's Point store steps in 1976 and continuing through today, we've taken care of one another in ways those folks on the stairs could only dream of. We should all be proud. Thanks.
Thank you, Janis. I really love this photo showing our CMS and the helipad, and then you can see right over there for CLSD and the South Coast Fire. It's like
I love it too. I love
it's first responder row,